The most anticipated earnings releases for the week of March 25, 2024. Presented by Earningswhispers. Fewer than 200 companies are set to report earnings this week, but only about half of that with any size, and about a quarter of those with analyst coverage, are in the Russell 2000. It is always interesting when companies that had little interest one quarter suddenly pop up on our list ahead of earnings, and suddenly traders are watching Westport Fuel Systems after signing a contract with Volvo ahead of earnings. But this is a stock with little volume and sparse data. You can probably guess why Bitcoin Depot is on investors' radar, and we're not sure it has anything to do with earnings, but here we are, with it in the number 2 spot among those reporting earnings on Monday. Back in 2012, there were 17 analysts covering GameStop, but now they have almost all dropped coverage, which makes it harder to get any true number ahead of earnings. That fact alone, though, implies that the company's fundamentals are fading. Yet, this was the short squeeze trade of a lifetime a few years ago, and interest among traders still hasn't gone away. Interestingly, though, while short interest isn't likely coming back, the company has just kept posting improving earnings for almost 2 years now. Direct Digital seems to have favorable fundamentals after the company said its advertising platform saw stronger than expected activity in the third quarter. The company seemed to track well, too, with increased traffic, but the company needed extra time to complete its audit, which is why it is now reporting on Tuesday instead of last week, and that is often a red flag that something might be wrong. The two largest companies reporting earnings this week, Cintas and Paychex, report on Wednesday, but investors and traders are much more interested in Carnival and RH, or what you probably call Restoration Hardware. Investors are bullish in both names, but for Carnival, they are looking for the fundamental trends to continue, whereas, with RH, they are looking for the start of something positive following about 2 years of finding support somewhere in the $200 to $250 range. Walgreens Boots Alliance tops the list on Thursday, and investors aren't exactly buying into the turnaround story there, so the new management still needs to prove itself. Hut 8 Mining is another Bitcoin trade without much coverage, but is suddenly on investors' radar on the heels of Bitcoin strength. At the same time, however, short sellers have been gradually building positions in the name. The market will be closed on Good Friday, and no companies are scheduled to report. Interestingly, though, the busiest reporting period of the week will be Thursday, after the close, and all of their stocks are going to have to wait until next week to begin trading during regular hours. Once again, with primarily small companies reporting, there is a lot of high volatility likely, and option traders are pricing in added volatility for most names. This includes the Chinese names Dada and VNet, which have been in downtrends like other Chinese stocks, but during their downtrends, they have only moved by an average of roughly 8%. But going into earnings, traders are looking for nearly 30% moves this week. As the calendar shifts out, we are starting to get a better look at earnings season. Not on this calendar is Microsoft, which usually reports in late April but doesn't typically announce the date until nearly mid-month. Still, the week after this calendar is when we will see earnings truly pick up. Shh.